As I gaze out from my window on a land now white with snow, my thoughts go back to childhood in the distant long ago. While curlews calling for the rain, a cottage thatched in the great oak shade, the dusty road that's bogward bound, the flickering fire where dreams are made. A cockcrow greets the newborn day, the grouse is calling in the bogs, yon smithy's anvil tolls the bell, a shepherd whistles to his dog. The ploughman and his team, with gulls flying all around, chattering beyond the hedgerows, children schoolward bound. A crossroads dance at sunset, with jigs and reels so gay, and in the meadow by the mill, a corncrake holds sway. But I must stop reminiscing. Progress must have its way, and for the old folk of tomorrow, the past will be today. A snowfall in winter creates the same wonderland effect in rural Ireland each year, but this winter scene is different. This is Aughrim, County Galway in 1944. Country life was very much different then. With the lack of growth, whatever little grass the farm animals could find had to be supplemented by provisions stored at harvest time. The final stage in saving the hay was to pile it high into a sheepcock around a wooden pole. The pole was to prevent the remains of the sheepcock turning over when the sheep devoured the underneath. Fox hunting was the main outdoor pastime during the winter months. As well as providing enjoyment for horsemen and dog alike, it was also a service to farmers, as it helped to control the fox population, which was a serious menace to the farmers at lambing time. Turnips were chopped into manageable proportions for cattle and calves, using a hand pulper. The countryside was dotted with mills. These were tall stone buildings along river banks. The interior was a maze of belts, gears, and wooden conveyors. The large water wheel was the source of power. In addition to crushing oats into oaten meal for porridge, the large querns also ground wheat into flour. If the grain was hand-rolled, it made it much more palatable, especially for sheep. Rolled oats were fed to the ewes from wooden troughs. In late February, the crows get busy selecting sites for their nests, and shortly after, the building begins. This is the time of year also when the farmer killed a pig to provide bacon for his family over the coming months. After the killing, the pig would be hung up until the following night when the boning took place. When the bones were taken out, the grishkins would be cut from the sides. Then the sides were cut and salted and stored in boxes. leather goods were vital to farming life. Every small town had a harness maker.
How are ya?
Oh, hello.
How are things?
Well, not so bad.
I've a sort of a sick collar here you might have a look at for me.
My God, it is bad, all right. It's nearly as bad as looking at yourself. Go do the collar.
There's another man up the street and he'll probably do it for me. If I probably get up to him, but them all are saying that you're the best at it.
Is that right?
Yes.
No. Well, do you think you're going to get it done cheap when you're praising me like that?
No, Rory, you did a few jobs before for me. I know they went quick, but at the same time. Bad old weather, isn't it?
It is. But sure, why happen to be out there? What right here? I can sow a wetter by him.
That's right. The farmers go out and make the money and they come in to pay you.
They do.
You haven't a bob left for the poor devil. The jail if it's not Jude's taking it after him, it's some other fella.
You wouldn't get it out of some of the farmers with a machine gun.
That's gone a bit far there.
It is all right, but we'll do it all the same.
But the leather is good in it now,
right.
and the frame is good.
Right.
Generally very solid.
You seem to know so much, so only don't do it yourself.
But if you didn't have a good, with all the money that's out of it, I have a good mind to take on the job myself. I have more out of it than farming anyway. I saw a man the other day in town with a horse. I said like that, God, he was a lovely animal.
Oh, there's some good ones coming all the time. There was a character come in from Moore one time with a horse here, and he was up at the top of the square. And an Englishman came along, and it was the last horse he was buying. He had a full wagon load got, but he said this one would suit him. So he said to the old fellow, how much for the horse? And the farmer said, £400, sir. All right, he says, I won't be arguing with you. He says, I'll give you the 400. He says, I'm in a hurry. He says, less 7.5%. Well, I don't know so much about that now. I'd have to think about it. So he went down to Maggie May's pub, and there was a nice looking barmaid in it at the time, and he says, excuse me, miss, if I give you £400 less 7.5%, what would you take off? Every bloody stitch. No. So whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that's the way it was told to me. No.
I'll tell you, I'll come back in a couple of days, will I?
I'll come back tomorrow evening. We'll have it for you. That'd be all right.
But gee, that's not so bad.
No.
Well, look, so.
Goodbye. We've seen you.
And I expect a top-class job done now on it.
Right. If you owe the money, we'll do the job.
As soon as the land dried up after the winter, the appearance of the farmer and his team of plough horses indicated that spring had arrived.
Go on up over that. Go on up over that.
In mid-March, the hedgerows were cut. The best way to maintain a good hedge was to lay it. The whitethorn provided the best hedge. From mid to late March, as the harsh March winds dried up the soil, the land was tilled and prepared for the sowing of corn. Shaking the corn was a job for the older man on the farm. Usually the woman of the house or one of the boys would carry the seed to the shaker in a bucket. It was usually carried in a sheet. The seed was then tilled in with the spring harrow, a wooden harrow. The job was then finished off with a roller. Sowing potatoes in the field was the first big job of the year on the farm. After the drills were made with the drill plough, then the manure was carted into the drills and scattered. If the seed potatoes were big, they were cut in slits. The slits were then spread from proshgenes. As with the corn, the boys carried the seed to the spreaders. The drills were then closed with the horse and drill plough. At this time of year also, the farmer had to make provisions for heat in the home for the winter. The turf was cut in the month of May. First, the bank was cleaned, which meant removing the waste surface from the bank until the better quality turf was bared. The waste was dumped into the bog hole left from last year's cut, raising the level to that of the low bank where the turf would be spread. Then the cutting started with the slayensman and 2 barrowmen. If the spreading area was very long, a 3rd barrowman would be used for the first couple of days. At tea time, men and women would gather to one man's bank for a chat and a few jokes to break the monotony of the day. Although the work was hard, everybody looked forward to going to the bog.
How are you, men? How are things? I never saw you yet, but you were eating or lying down or something. How do you get the work done How do you get the work done at all?
Don't know, but if you were here since 8 o'clock this morning, you'd be hungry.
Well, I had 2 good hours sleep after the dinner, Paddy. Any working man should have it.
You're only going to clean the bank yet.
By the way, Paddy, that spade I gave you last week, you wouldn't have it for me, would you?
We've no spade at all belong to you.
Well,
I've our own spade. Thanks.
John Joe, didn't you tell me that he got a spade last week? Did he or did he not?
I don't know whether he did or not. He said he did.
I'd invented some sort of a machine that... You got your feet them well. It's pure slavery.
Like here, you know, that will take a lot of brown bread to fill. Thank God, yeah. And he's drinking yourself, my John Joe. That's only after the dinner. We had 2 dinners. You haven't one here, haven't you? Yeah, so we walk late tonight.
The May bush was a very old tradition. On May Eve, every household would erect a whitethorn bush and decorate it with eggshells. The children would then dance around singing their Maybush song.
Began to cry. Oh, father, son looked out and said, oh, never mind, my dears. I'll send my little fairy folks to dry your falling tears. One fairy came in violet and one more in indigo.
As the weather got warmer, it was time to relieve the sheep of their coats. The shearing was another big event, with many of the neighbours gathering to lend a hand. The fleeces were then packed into the wool pack, and the sheep were again branded. The wool was then sold. This was the first main source of income of the year for the farmer.
go very quick, you know. There's of those. I don't know what it is. Aiden.
Jag får förtala det. Small drop now and too much relation is so. That's going on. Thank you.
So am I, and so is the sheep. More important, eh?
Oh.
Nej, jag rollar upp landet höjet.
Ja,
Vi tog rollar den där. Jag vill gå till.
I can help say that.
No. Up along now. No, let me jump for it.
The tinsmith was always a welcome visitor, as there was usually it was easier to sow turnips than other crops, because the turnip machine could be used and the donkey would come into play again. The local well, or village pump, was the source of water for the spraying of the potatoes to prevent the dreaded...
Oj, torka.
The turnips had to be thinned, which meant leaving them approximately 10 inches apart. When the turf had become reasonably solid, it was footed into a better drying position. 7 or 8 sods were placed in a stack and then left to dry.
I'm singing sitting on the stile, Mary, where we sat side by side on a bright May morning long ago, when first you were my bride. The corn was springing fresh and green, and the lark sang loud and high, and the red was on your lips, Mary, and the love light in your eye. The place is little changed, Mary, the day is bright as then, the lark's loud song is in my ear, and the corn is green again. But I miss the soft clasp of your hand, and your breath warm on my cheek, and I still keep listening for the words you never more may speak, you never more may speak. 'Tis but a step down yonder lane, and the little church stands near, the church where we were wed, Mary. I see the spire from here, but the graveyard lies between, Mary, and my step might break your rest, for I've laid you, darling, down to sleep with your baby on your breast. And often in these grand old woods I sit and close my eyes, and my heart will again to the place where Mary lies. And I think I see that little stile where we sat side by side, and the springing corn on a bright May morn, when first you were my bride, when first you were my bride. I'm very lonely now, Mary, for the poor make no new friends, but oh, will the few our Father sends, and you are all I had, Mary, my blessing and my pride. There's nothing left to care for now, since my poor Mary died. I'm bidding you a long farewell, my Mary kind and true, but I'll not forget you, darling, in the land I'm going to, where they say there's bread and work for all, and the sun shines always there. But I'll not forget old Ireland, where it's 50 times as fair, where it's 50 times as fair.
At different times of the year, some travelling families would spend a few weeks at one of their usual haunts and then move on to some other place.
How are you all?
How are you doing, sir?
How's Mr. McInerney?
That's all right.
I have a sort of a sick bucket here. Do you think you'll be able to do anything with it for me? There's a bit of a hole there, do you see it?
Yeah. I can try it.
Will you be able to do something with it?
I can try it,
Here, there's a lot of daylight to be seen through.
yeah.
You think it's not too far gone? Yeah. When will I come back for it? Couple of hours. That's good. So, I'll leave it with you so.
All right.
Thanks very much. How are you all getting on? Are you enjoying the bad weather? Terrible, isn't it? We have to suffer it.
That's what I'm not about it.
Good luck to you.
Bye.
All the best. All the best. He died, man.
Many farms had their own spring well from which the purest of water was drawn regularly by the woman of the house. The mowing machine, hay was cut with a scythe. A sharp blade made the job easier. The horse-drawn mower was a much faster method.
The autumn days are here again, and the night winds chilly blow. The woodlands turn to golden hue, and the harvest moon's aglow. On thinking back to days gone by, to come no more I know, when I mowed Pat Murphy's meadow in the sunny long ago. I'll look out o'er the ocean and the distant sails afar, and the maiden in the meadow strikes some dark Lochnagar. There was music sweet and tender in the winds that whisper low, when I mowed Pat Murphy's meadow in the sunny long ago. Where are the happy boys and girls that danced the gay quadrille? Or the singer who warbled sweetly the burning granite mill? There was music sweet and tender in the winds that whisper low, when I mowed Pat Murphy's meadow in the sunny long ago. Those days are but a memory memory, like the snows of the yesteryear. And when evening shades are falling, all alone I shed a tear. On my cheek I feel the soft touch of the winds that whisper low, when I mowed Pat Murphy's meadow in the sunny long ago.
The hemp rope was very useful on the farm, especially if you could make a good knot.
Oh, how you make it? Dear, I haven't seen you for years and years. Sure. Back again from the Navy.
Back again.
This is Mickey O'Loughlin, Seamus.
How do you do?
He's spent 20 years in the Merchant Navy.
Yes.
And there wasn't a port in the world but he pulled into.
Yeah, and travel all over, met every kind of people.
He met every man, woman and child of every description that ever God made.
Yes.
But remember the ropes you were knotting here the last time, Mickey?
Yeah.
I forgot how to make them knots again. Will you show us, will you do it again? Are you able to do it? Have you apparatus in your hand?
Have you a bit of a rope? Let's show you a couple.
Would any of them ropes be any good? That whole one.
I shouldn't do, we'll make a couple.
Yeah. Watch this
what
now.
ones do you want?
Watch this now, Seamus, because this could be very useful for you. Go on, then, whatever you like.
Sure, I'll make a bowline.
Good enough.
It's a very good knot, and it's used a lot in the Navy, years gone by. It'll never slip, never open.
Pull.
You can pull away it and never leave that.
We'll open it now and see
It's
what
always easy
to open it.
Always easy to open. Just 2 fingers to open it.
Yeah. That's simple, Seamus. A good knot.
Yeah. I'll show you a clove hitch now. I think I showed you one before. I want your arm or something to put around. It's made up of 3 half hitches, just this 2, and you throw on one for old time's sake. That's a clove hitch now.
Yeah, and it's easy to open that.
Very easy to open that. It'll always sit at that tightness.
Would it slip?
Oh, it won't slip. No. Yeah. Another knot that won't slip is a rolling hitch. I'll show you. That's one that's used a lot on anything round. Again,
I have a handle here, mate, on the door.
that'll do, sure.
You won't break me sheep pro. Yeah. You never use them in the Navy.
No, no. Round bars of steel we had mostly. But to make a rolling hitch, it's simple enough. Your own turbines.
He says now this won't slip, Seamus.
Yeah.
But we'll test them.
We'll test
When
them.
he make it.
Now you put on a half hitch here, and of course you have to keep the back of the half hitch up the way.
Yeah.
Now,
No, get that there, Seamus, and we'll test them. Tie it there to the vice. You don't have to pull again, also.
you can pull away.
You're too old.
Go on. You'll pull the bench down, that's all you'll do.
No.
The rope will break.
Wait a minute now, we'll test that.
Now,
No, wait, no.
how about that?
That wouldn't slip. Now with that house open that way?
No, that just falls apart. All knots made right fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
And every knot is its own purpose. I'll show you one now that's out in escape. It'll be about 10 minutes out in Hong Kong.
Yeah, I heard that now, all right.
At a time.
I saw it on the paper one time.
You put your own turbines on it. Have you all the other ones forgot?
I forgot them all again. Seamus might think it over now, though.
I wouldn't.
He'd be more interested in knots now than what I would. They don't come that much into my line.
Yeah.
Well, what would that be?
Pier pine used to
that look cool.
use this.
Pier pine?
The hangman's knot, is it?
And you were very near caught in
That's
that
the one
one. You were nearly caught in that.
I got onto a ship quick
To the pit you were.
and got away. Sure.
Yeah.
Simple tools, isn't it now?
Would you think of them now again?
I wouldn't. I would not have
Just a straight piece of rope.
Yeah. Easy open it.
Yeah.
I'd been in but I'd like if you could open it that handy.
As Patsy Graham uses it, it's a dangerous twig.
Yeah.
That do. I'll show you just the last one. House.
Yeah.
Sheep shank. Useful knot in a lot now, you see, pull away, you bring the end of this back here for the longer bit of rope, it seems that's all we have.
Yeah.
And
What's that used for?
that you can, to tighten anything, it gives you more of a pull. To be equal to 3 men pulling when you put around something here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very useful.
So now are you satisfied?
Yeah.
You can practice them at home.
Yeah.
Good. Now you have to show
That's
us.
all. I like their pipe now.
Hit for the again.
Are you still in the Navy?
It was here last.
Are you still in the Navy?
Don't you
I'm not. Gone over this for a few years. I'm on the road now.
How do you manage to get the boat?
It's very hard to get them now.
Very hard.
War.
Yeah. Then I've been a paper there, Seamus. I know when he can't afford matches.
It's war.
See.
I'll be away.
I'll call again before 5 or 6 years anyway.
I'll call next time about.
You might have something strange to show us again. Good luck, Mickey.
Good luck.
Let's go. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Taking the sheep cook now. Now is the time for them when the lads are going shearing. You don't want one, do you?
That is very nice.
Hey, that's a good job.
I tell you, I have a young fella down in Gorey,
Yeah.
and he has desperate warts on his hands. And I heard
Oh, you
that
want some of the water?
Yeah, I heard it's a good cure, is it?
Well, it is very good because the iron is in the water there, you see, and it will cut away the warts.
Well, do you rub it on or just
Oh,
drink
rub it on. You don't let him drink it, it'll poison him.
Yes.
Rub it on.
That I want.
What, did you bring me anything in the bottle? Did you only bring him an empty bottle?
No, I have a big bottle outside.
Oh, that's good.
A bottle of Guinness.
Seamus and myself will have a...
I got it in John French's of Gorey.
Very good. Very good.
So I can take all I want of
You
this.
can take all you want of that now free of charge.
It was a lovely taste of
It's
it.
all you could drink, you can drink it, sure.
Yes, you shall drink that. Huh? Could you give it that to the missus?
Wait, you can. To be sure it's as good as poaching.
Yeah, lovely. I'll go out and get you the other bottle.
Right, get me the other bottle.
Yeah.
And Seamus and myself will have a drink.
Thank
I
you
hope
very
it
much.
isn't too strong now, or it might set us reeling.
With many parishes fielding 4 or 5 hurling teams, the hurley maker was in big demand. In addition to hurleys, the ash was also used as handles for spades and forks.
You too, Peter.
How are you getting on?
Oh, I'm getting on fine now. Apart from these old arthritis pains I have.
Very good.
Today and yesterday now, too bad. The weather has improved a bit.
With the weather.
It's improving a bit. I've been awful hot here in my leg. I didn't do much lately.
You're working pretty hard on those hurleys. I hope you had that one I ordered made, have you?
Well, no, it's grand and light anyhow. I hope it'll be to your fancy.
It's coming to
Huh?
it's very near the shape now. That looks very good actually. Looks very nice, very nice. Oh, that is nice. That's a nice stick. You certainly know how to put the bend into them. Because sometimes when they get them here and they're like a board.
Aye, that's well, that one isn't like a board. That's too simple.
That's beautiful, very nice
Too
actually.
simple.
How do you get the balance into it so well? I heard so
It's
much
only
about
an art.
Well,
I don't weigh them or I don't do anything like that. I just look at them and
years
take
ago.
a bit off here and there. And
How did you get in on them, or who gave you the idea? Were you hurling yourself?
well, I'll tell you, when I was a young lad, I was always fond of pairing.
Pairing?
I had an old knife, I'd pair a stick or anyhow. But anyhow, Wesley Welch above near Paddy Horney's, he had a field and all the lads...
Paddy Horney's now,
aye,
the forge.
aye, over from the forge.
Over from the
In
forge.
Wesley Welch's field, all the lads used
yes.
to gather there of a summer's evening.
Yes.
And they'd all be hurling among themselves. Of course, I know nothing about hurling on it.
Really?
I was very lucky I didn't get killed. Because I'd run before Josie Ginnand or someone like that. I'm sure. Well, Tony Scott, he was a grand hurler, I believe, and he's still alive, that's nice. He was the first lad that came down and bought a hurl from me, and he gave me 6 shillings for it. And imagine my heart in my mouth.
You thought you were a millionaire?
I did. And from that on then I tried to look out here a tree that be suitable for hurls, and I brought them into the sawmill then and I got them sawed, and
yes.
I used to mark them out in with my pattern, and I do all I could in with the handsaw.
Oh, just with the
instead
handsaw.
of the van saw.
That must be slow work.
Oh, sure, it was shocking slow, but we did it anyhow.
And you did all this work on your own, did you?
Mostly on my own, except that I had a man or two. Bill Mackay was one fellow who had root and tree. We used to go outside that lawn, 4 mile outside that lawn, to Nash's nursery, and I used to pick out all the trees that would be suitable for hurls. There was thousands at a minute, and I had a great pick.
That was a great
And I
selection.
had and then there was lovely straight pieces, and I used to keep the straight pieces and make handles, square them out for handles, and round them
for
like
brushes and spades
and forks.
So there's no waste.
No waste.
That's a great
No
idea.
waste.
Great.
I remember one time I got a hurl now that made 2 or 3. It was that high in it that I got 59 hurls out of the whole lot of it.
Out of a trunk?
Aye, out of one trunk.
That was some tree.
And to make it better, didn't I wheel it up on a wheelbarrow? It was down a hill, and I brought it home in the old Morris 10. I took out the front seat and I got it into it, and I got it home, and I sawed it up, and I had a supply for a few clubs out of it. You
worth
would
a few-
have to go over for if I can short.
That was worth a few 6 shillings at
It
the
was.
time.
And I got
can
up to
imagine.
8 or 9 shillings at the time.
At the time.
And so on until this.
Yes.
The postman was always a regular visitor to the workshop.
What's your mate? How are you going on?
Not so bad, sure.
Have you anything to go for me today?
I'm sure.
The last
Good
day
and bad news, Paddy.
The last day you had a process for me.
Huh?
The last day you had a process for me.
Is that it?
Yes. Any news?
I'll give it a bit, sure, Paddy, give it a bit.
Yeah.
All is quiet along the village anyway.
Is it?
Yeah.
No one dead or getting mad?
No,
or
sure.
anything?
You've had the news yourself quick as I have it, sure.
Well, they would.
Did you?
But they won't tell me that much when they come in. They don't tell me that much when
No.
they come in.
No, sure, you're kept busy.
At all, but doing something.
Yeah, sure, that's it, sure, that's it. It's a shower all day out.
It's a bad weather out here.
Tis. Good luck now, Paddy.
Good luck, mate.
Hello, good afternoon, Mr. Honey.
Oh, good evening, Your Reverence.
Would
Have
you
you-
tighten that up for me and sharpen that?
Oh, yeah, I will, of course. Sorry. No problem.
Yes,
I hope you're not in a hurry, though.
No.
I'm
It'll
doing a
do.
job here for this gentleman, and
Yes, yeah. That's what I'll do for you.
he's in a great hurry with it,
Yeah,
so it'll be
okay.
tomorrow morning before I will have it.
5 o'clock.
But no problem
I'll
after
be
that.
here precisely between 11 and 12.
Good man. Okay, Your Reverence.
I use the wool from the Galway breed of sheep because it's the best for hand spinning. I think it has a long stable, and it's also fairly soft. It's a lowland sheep, and it's easy to spin. The thing about the spinning wheel is that the brake on it is important. You have a brake that where you can control the speed at which the wool runs in onto the bobbin. A good amount of wool actually fits onto one of the bobbins. You'd have nearly 3 ounces on it. So when that's full, then I take it off and I make it into a hank or a skein, as it's called, and then I make 4 bindings on it, to make it suitable for washing. If you just have 2, I find the wool can get a little bit mixed up, and especially for when you're dyeing it. As you can see, like, I have the big old pot, the oval pot, which is great. It's a cast iron pot, which is again very suitable for dyeing, because for most dyes you need a mordant. It's like a chemical, it's like a salt that helps the dye into the wool. I use mostly local plants that grow. Dock leaves are very good. I use the cow parsley that's flowering now in the end of May. You can use apple leaves and barks. I use tansy, lichen, from the trees or from the rocks. Very good. Now, mostly with native plants, you get yellows, greens, browns, beiges. Yeah. Another one that's quite good is gorse flowers. And then you have the natural dark and black fleeces as well.
me can't think the fire isn't too bad. I'll make a bit of a cake while it's lighting fairly well.
Make it light.
A nice brown cake, be nice for the tea. Before you go for your drop of booze. Huh? Now, let me see how the
no, the dog won't mind you, the dog won't mind you.
Now that might do. No, that's fine. That's enough now. That's grand. Now, we can leave that alone now.
You very cooked it, say.
Huh? Should be well done. Not sure.
Better
not take it away. Oh, you get burdened there quick. That's grand. That's just right. Oh, it's hot. I will leave it here in the dresser.
Overbaked.
Huh?
It was overbaked.
Now.
How are you today?
Oh, so not so bad. Have a look.
You have very modern belt.
Ah, I've had it.
Sign a heart, you.
And it has to be.
Oh, you won't go knock a three.
Do you know what it's like now, had it?
I know. You want to knock a three of man?
I was thinking knock a bit of timber, but I haven't.
What's wrong with that?
That's the problem today, Paddy. Now the fire has gone out.
Yeah.
The turf is wet.
Yeah.
And I brought that down to you.
What do you want on the anyway? Do you want a sharpened or what?
I want a sharp, Paddy, and there's a bit of a jump in it. There must be a
high tooth, is it?
There's a high tooth in the Paddy somewhere.
Yeah. And who sharpened it last for you?
Your good self, that sharpened it last.
Sorry, boss.
And you made a bad job of it?
Oh dear. I'm sorry you know about that. Might do better this time, maybe.
Seeing that you're not too busy today, you might do it now for me.
Yeah, I will not do it now because I met another job. We're making a wheel here.
Now how would I go home to the wife now and the children? No fire, no way of cooking a dinner. There'll be no supper tonight, there'll be no dinner tomorrow.
Yeah.
What would you say to me?
Well, I don't care what you said, I won't hear it.
And to make...
Throw there and I'll do it tonight.
No, have a bit of a heart.
I won't. No. I can't do it now because I'm in a hurry.
To make it worse still, she had advice to the mother. But the mother-in-law is coming up.
Ah, well, you're being hot water then not together when you have the mother-in-law around there. So throw there on the bench and I do it.
So I'd
do it tonight maybe.
I'd be rude, I couldn't go home. There's no fire at home, and I'd be rude.
I don't care how you're rude. Maybe there if you want to do.
Fishing in the local stream was another relaxing pastime for young and old.
Hey lads, I have another one.
Okay, this time.
Another trout.
Huh?
Another trout.
Easy. Put him in. Take your time. Let's see. Come on. Let's take your time.
Oh, lovely.
Oh yeah. Come on, burn him. Don't fight him too hard now. You're not going to lose the one like you lost last night.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, burn him in. Not so bad. It's a tiddler.
Nice.
Hey, the one. Joe, where are you? Come here. Look at this. Look at it. Slap that up against the side. Lay them down there. Lay them down.
My one's bigger.
Stop there. Look. Oh, yeah, rainbow.
Ah, nice.
Go away now.
It's still alright size.
He is not. Nothing's better than my lecture.
I don't know.
You missed a lovely one last night, so I did.
Yeah.
After a few days drying in the sun, the hay had to be turned by either a swath turner or a hand rake. Then it would be shook loose with the kicker or the tedder. When fully dry, it would be rowed in with the swath turner and collected with the tumbling rake for tramping. St. John's night, the 23rd of June, the local crossroads was the venue for the bonfire, where neighbours gathered for singing, dancing and storytelling.
And I took out my fiddle for to play my love a tune. In the middle of the tune, oh, she sighed and she said, "Oh, Johnny, lovely Johnny, would you leave?" When I was just a young lad, I heard my father say, "He'd sooner see me dead and buried in the clay, rather than be married to any man away." On the lovely sweet banks of the rose, on the banks of the roses, my love and I sat down, and I took out my fiddle for to play my love a tune. In the middle of the tune, oh, she sighed and she said, "Oh, Johnny, lovely Johnny, would you leave?" If ever I get married, it'll be in the month of May. The leaves they are green and the meadows they are gay, and me and my true love will sit as sport and play on the lovely sweet banks of the rose. On the banks of the roses, me love and I sat down, and I took out my fiddle for to play my love a tune. In the middle of the tune, oh, she sighed and she said, "Oh, Johnny, lovely Johnny, would you leave? Oh, Johnny, lovely Johnny, would you leave?" Last night, oh, but says to my was courting another fair man. Didn't I wake with the weeping and the wailing? My heart was too deep to conceal. My mother cried, no, dear, what is your wailing? But all I could answer was Teddy only. I've seen the old cabin beyond the rivalry. I've seen the old crossroads where we used to dance. I've rambled the lane where he called me his story, and my girlish heart felt a thrill of romance. But now all around it's so sad and so dreary, all dark, all silent, no piper, no ear, not even the sun through the caves shines cheery. Since I left my darling boy Teddy only. Shall I ever forget when the beach it was ready, the time was come for my love to depart? How I cried like a child, oh goodbye to you, Teddy, with a tear on my cheek and a stone in my heart. He said it was too better, it's fate he went roaming, but what could be gold to the joy I would feel if he'd only come back to me tender and loving? It grew, but my own darling Teddy only. It grew, but my own darling Teddy only.
When Paddy Murphy was getting married, didn't he get married above in the capital, you know, and because the night he was coming home, you see, there was going to be an almighty function. So because I was expecting to be something like tonight, you know, a bit of music. But because anyway, because in came the cars, you know, and the next thing the unloading began. Oh, a fine junk of a woman with great understanding. Because he said to me, what do you think of her? Hereford said, "Aye, she's the finest. If there was a drop of porter and a bit of music." And I didn't give a damn, you know, she was like the back of a Volkswagen, you know. So because anyway, we sloped into the house and I was expecting the fiddle and melodeon and the flute. But instead of that, then they plugged this little dibble of a yoke in the wall. And they started off, put your left side out, put your right side out. And sure, it was no length at all, you know, until they had the other side out, you know. And wasn't there this poor woman, God bless her, and didn't she start wagging her posterior? Well, the music was going helter-skelter, and her posterior was going helter-skelter, like the baiters of a thresher man alive. Only there was no chaff coming. So bigger anyway, the next thing didn't the music stop. And the poor woman was still wagging her posterior. Well, I hated to see the poor woman making a show of herself. And I stopped up to her and I said, "Excuse me, ma'am, but you left your engine running." But bigger anyway, you know, that night passed off anyway, and bigger, you see, they were no married at all until they started playing games. Aye, and one of their favourites was Puss in the Corner. Aye, Puss in the Corner. She used to hit him in the puss and he'd lie in the corner. So begun anyway, you know. You know, they were married for a good while, you know, and there was nothing doing, you know. So they started off this gambit of praying to the saints. So it was 3 Hail Marys to St. Anne, and 3 Hail Marys to St. Catherine, and 3 Hail Marys to St. Bridget. And it was no lint at all, you know, until they had the full litany of saints pestered, you know. But I happened to be in it this night anyway, and the rosary was finished, and it came to the 3 Hail Marys. And Kate, you see, gave John the nudge, and she didn't want to give in, you know, what they were praying for, and she said, 3 Hail Marys for the cause. I was very nearly going to say 3 more for a lost cause. But anyway, you know, this night didn't they say a silent prayer, and whatever they said didn't do the devilment, you know. So we got it this night, didn't Kate get bad, and poor old John didn't understand the situation. None the worse the course, it's such a tricky situation, you know. And the doctor, you see, lived down a big long avenue, and poor old John anyway hit down from anywhere around 2 o'clock in the morning, and the doctor was half cross sick, and he woke him up. And the doctor said, "What's on you?" "It's the wife," said John. "Is she in, what's wrong with her?" said the doctor. "Oh, she's expecting," said John. "Oh, begorra," said the doctor. He said, "Do you think we should stick it out till morning?" "I was sure she could be all right," said John, sloping down the avenue again. And he was gone about 50 yards, so the doctor stuck his head out the top window again. He said, "Is she in labour?" "Not at all," said John. "Sure wasn't she in Fianna Fáil all her lifetime?" So I have to be passing home anyway, and didn't I see the doctor's buggy outside, so I said I'd slope in. And poor old John was there walking, pacing up and down the floor, and he all of a dither. And I sat down in the hob, and the next thing he sat down in the other hob, and the next thing out arrived the doctor with one under his arm. And the next thing out arrived the midwife with one under each arm. So poor old John wasn't worth tuppence, didn't know where he went wrong, you know. So we got after a while, didn't he pick up a bit of courage, and he sloped up to the room door and he stuck his head in. And Kate half straightened herself in the bed, and she said, "Under God," she said, "will you tell me who did you pray to that night?" "Oh Lord," he said, "I prayed to the 3 wise men." And she said, "Wasn't it cursed lucky you didn't pray to the 12 apostles?" Thank you.
the truth to you I'll tell. Brought up by honest parents and raised most tenderly, till I became a sporting lad at the age of 23. Peter was taken and I was sent to jail. My friends and parents done their best to get me out on bail, but the jury found me guilty. The clerk he wrote it down. For one crime or another I was sent to Charlestown. They placed me on an eastbound train one cold December day, and every station we passed through you could hear the people say, there goes the Boston burglar, in cold chains he is bound. For one crime or another he is sent to Charlestown. All you